Hi everybody, welcome on in to our MCM Q&A. Thank you for submitting questions, appreciate that, because we understand it's important for people to get information as much as they want, because it could be scary going to these things for the first time, or even a few times, still been a bit nerve-wracking. So yeah, we thought we'd put some answers together from people who have been a few times. These guys way more than me.
I am a veteran.
The veteran con goers.
I've been in the war known as MCM Comic-Con.
Feel free to ask questions in chat if you think of anything else. First question was, how do you navigate the convention? The map on the app is busy and it's hard to tell which zone is which, especially for someone that is a wheelchair user. So speaking from personal experience, I can't apply it to that. However, the lovely Jen has put together some information, and Jen is a wheelchair user and has kind of written a little bit about her experiences with navigating the convention. Basically, the map on the app can be hard to read, and MCM do tend to release a themed version. So I can't remember if it was May this year or October last year, but there was a D&D themed map, which is pretty and very good, but obviously not totally accessible to everybody. So they do also release a plain version of the map as well, which I believe can be found online. So if you can't, because I don't think you can zoom in on the one on the app. You can, however, use the app to actually search for a particular vendor or a stage. So if you need to know where something is, you can, I think there's like a search bar, you can search for where that location is, and it should give you some sort of direction of where you need to be, or the path from where you are to where that section is. But Jen did say to be mindful that it might not account for stairs, so you need to kind of look at the map as best you can. Or if you do find yourself being taken down a route that has stairs or, unaccessible zones, then see if there's a staff member nearby and they'll be able to direct you to the nearest lift or a different route or something to get to the area. On that note, if you are attending panels or anything that's got a specific time slot, it's best to make sure that you give yourself plenty of extra time for travel, especially if you need accessible routes, so that you can make sure that you can go a different way around if you need to. It's also helpful to have a look at the map before you attend, so that you can get some idea of what stages or zones are near each other. And it's probably also helpful to spend a little bit of time at the start of the convention, or if you're only there for the day, spend just like an hour or so in the morning going up and down like the main corridor, or outside to see what's around outside, and then you can see what's around, see where things are, and you can pick up on the numbers of the halls. So each main hall has like a big banner outside
Where the shutters are for each hall, there is on the pillars a giant black sign with, like, in white letters, each of the numbers.
And N1, N2, 3, and then they have S1, 2, 3. And basically that means North Hall, South Hall. So if you're looking at something on the map or on the app and it says S1, you know that you need to be on the south side and in the South Hall in that area for whatever you're looking for.
If you're coming straight through the front doors, like where the green is, and like the north side will be on your left and the south side will be on your right. In terms of stages, it's been consistent now for like the past 3 conventions, I think, where they've now moved the main stage finally to the auditorium, which is right at the back. So if you're coming from the front entrance by the green, you have to walk all the way to the end, which is the east entrance, to get to the auditorium. And it's like down some escalators. There are lifts there as well. And there's also a queue hall. But I believe if you've got disability priority stickers, then you should be able to bypass the queues or be put in like a special queue or something to be let in first to get your disability seats. There's normally like tons of staff around as well to help direct people, especially if there are actual panels on at the main stage, like important ones.
Yeah, they're quite good at making sure people are where they need to be for that, aren't they? Like in the right queues and stuff. Anna, do you want to do the next one, the cosplay events one?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. So the second question is, what are the cosplay events like, especially the non-competitive ones? So, fun fact, I've actually entered the masquerade for the first time, so I will be doing that in October.
Hey.
What I understand, there's a mix of competitive and non-competitive cosplay events. So some of the non-competitive ones include the cosplay showcase, which I think you have to sign up for in the morning, and then it's usually around in the afternoon. So usually you'll go to, I think it's it's center stage, and then it'll be sort of like a more supportive, relaxed kind of environment. And then there's the masquerade, which is Saturday evening and Sunday late afternoon. These are usually the more competitive ones, and you usually have to sign up months in advance. And then you basically go on stage, you get 30 seconds to some music, you do some poses, and then you walk off. You'll need to sign up ahead of the event to secure your place, like I said. But on the actual day, you'll need to check in at the Cosplay Central area. This is put on the map pretty clearly, but obviously you can ask around if you get lost or anything. And I think it's located above the main stage, so it'll be on the east side of the XL. And the masquerade, just a bit more to clarify on that, I believe you can not be judged. So the masquerade is usually for judging, but to be judged, you have to go and check in beforehand and say you want to be judged. And it's always good to have a build book which shows your process, because that's what the judges look at. I've signed up for the non-competitive one because I do not want to be judged. So I'm just literally going to walk on and do some poses and then dip. So I'll check in on the day. I think I have to go a bit earlier to like see all the stages and stuff, and then there's like some backstage prep, and then they're apparently they're quite good at guiding you through the whole process, so it should be fine. The team at Cosplay Central will obviously tell you what's happening and what time and place you need to be at. You can also take a backstage buddy during the actual masquerade. So this is basically just someone to help you adjust your costume and help with your bags and anything you need to carry or sort out, and just also like some emotional support as well. And then when it's actually time to do the walk, you're taken backstage in your line, so you can go on stage one at a time. There's not usually any sketches or skits with this kind of thing, but there is the talent showcase on Sunday just before the Sunday masquerade, and that's usually when people do performances. So it's like a variety show, so people sing, people dance, and that's more of like a talenty kind of showcase. And yeah, usually once you've done that, you can just go and watch the rest of the performance. I don't know if any of you have anything to chip in on that.
I have competed in a masquerade. Number one, I will say, is build books are essential. You will have more points on your side if you bring a build book. Do not forget it, because that's what happened to me. Please bring your build book. Please make one. You will get deducted points if you don't have one, basically. I'm talking for the masquerade, not for the showcase. In terms of structure for the day, you check in the morning at Cosplay Central, which, by the way, yes, Cosplay Central has now moved. It's on the east side above the main stage. So if you were to go all the way to the end, the east side, instead of going down the escalators or in a lift down to get the main stage, there are now escalators that are going up. And up those escalators, there is essentially an office suite, and a lot of I think it's like tabletop and stuff like that, as well as Cosplay Central, are now in those office spaces. So it is fairly easy to find. It is just a bit more of a trek, but I kind of like where it is because now it's close to the main stage. So for things like the masquerade, it's a lot easier to get to between the two of them. But yeah, in terms of your day, you will check in at Cosplay Central in the morning to say you're here, and they will give you a slot for judging if you are going to be judged on it. These are very loose times, I will say. I remember when I did it, I was late, but then they were like, oh, don't worry, the people that are actually judging you are also late. They're eating lunch. And I was like, oh, right. But try and stay on time as best you can, and give yourself plenty of time to get to judging. I was coming from a meet when my judging was happening, and what should have taken only 5 minutes to get to Cosplay Central took about 30. So just be warned that you want to probably linger around Cosplay Central for your judging. And yeah, judging will, as far as I remember, will be taken at Cosplay Central. They might tell you something different, so just take that with a pinch of salt. In terms of the masquerade, they will tell you like a time that you need to gather and a specific place. And they will walk you to the main stage, or they'll tell you to gather by main stage. I can't remember. But yes, you are allowed to bring someone behind. There is no like rehearsal or anything. They will give you a very brief oversight of what is expected of you. Try and listen as best you can. They will tell you like, oh, pose for 5 seconds here, here, and here, and you just have to remember it. But if you can, do bring someone behind the stage again for like cosplay, like adjustments and things, and just you will need the support.
I'm also going to quickly say, I think just in general, give yourself loads of time to go to whatever event you're planning to go to, so like panels and things, because especially in the afternoon on Saturday, it takes forever to walk down to where you need to go just because of the crowds. So just in general, like just give yourself enough time to do whatever it is you need to do and get wherever you need to go.
No matter the day, there's always sort of like a flow of people. Like the left side, you can kind of judge it as you're walking through, but one side people will be walking more in one direction than the other, so just kind of go with the flow of people. Instead of going against the grain. Like if there's more people walking towards you than there are walking in the same direction you are, then swap to the other side of like the boulevard. But
Channel
yeah,
your inner Londoner.
literally.
The next question is, are there any fun or cheap things to do nearby, outside, or places to hang out? We've all done a mix of things when we've gone to conventions. I mean, for me in particular, I've done 3 different types of convention attending. I did one night, I've done 3 nights, and I've done the whole weekend. So depending on how long you're going for, it's best to kind of have some idea of what you're going to do or what you're wanting to do in the evening. If you've got friends that you're meeting, make plans, because there's nothing worse than getting to the end of the convention day and then nobody really knows what's going on, and then you spend an hour trying to decide what to do, and then you've wasted all that time. So having plans or having some idea of what you want to do afterwards is a good idea. And obviously don't set yourself up for going to those things if you're going to be too tired. So if you can, try and make plans that can be broken, if that makes sense. Because yeah, sometimes when you get back to your hotel or your apartment, you just flop down and then you're like, nope, I'm done for the day. So don't plan to do too much if you're probably going to be a bit tired. Most of the hotels on the, as we call it, the main strip, or the surrounding area, have restaurants or bars, and a lot of people tend to hang out in those. So the Novotel and the Ibis, their lobbies tend to get used for kind of like after party situations, or the space outside the hotels, because they're close to the XL and people can go straight up to their rooms afterwards. What you need to be mindful of if you're going to a hotel is that at a certain time of night they will lock it down so that it's only people with a room key that can get back in, that kind of thing. So yeah, be mindful of that. There are restaurants not related to hotels, but there's restaurants going down like the main road as well.
None of them have good vegan or vegetarian options, should say that. But they have some vegetarian options, but the vegan options are pretty terrible.
Yeah, so that's also important that if you've got dietary things, to make sure that you're checking where they are or like what's available to you at the time. You can take a cable car ride or go on the tube to the O2, which is over the river, and there's more food options there. There's, if you're wanting somewhere cheap, there's a Wetherspoons, there's a bowling alley, there's an arcade, things like that. But the cable car, I think it's like £13 for a return. So the tube is cheaper, but it kind of weaves a little bit.
It's
like
more
you have to
out
go.
The way.
Yeah, it's a longer journey. There are places again around the XL. So if you get the DLR and go one stop to Prince Regent, you can go to, I think there's a pub there called The Fox, not to be confused with the pub/bar that's outside the XL called The Fox. But yeah, the one that's at Prince Regent, that is like, I've not been in there myself, but it is more of a pub vibe, so I can imagine it'll be classic pub meals. There's a Tesco Express, which is down the road from the XL, and there's a large Asda, which is, Jen said, about 45 minutes walk from the XL. And there is a park on the way to the Asda as well. So if you were looking for something cheaper, you could get like a meal deal and go and sit at the park or something if it's nice weather. Last October it was still quite warm, even in the evenings. I don't remember feeling cold that weekend at all. So hopefully if we have the same kind of weather this time, it might still be nice outside towards the end of the day. Again, I would highly recommend looking at the map, just go on Google Maps, zoom in on the Excel, see what pops up around, and do a lot of research, like I say, into food options that can meet dietary requirements. You guys got anything you want to add on stuff to do?
About the Asda, because I've gone to the Asda. Yeah, it's about a 45-minute walk. However, you can pop on the DLR. You can get the DLR directly to Beckton. Beckton is the last stop. So just basically get on the one that says Beckton. And it is about a 15-minute journey, I think, to Beckton on the DLR. And then the Asda is literally right across the road from the DLR stop. So you don't have to walk far. And in that Asda, there is a shoe shop, I'm pretty sure, unless it's not there any longer. So if you need some quick, cheap shoes, that's there. I think there might be a Claire's there, I'm not sure. But there is a McDonald's there. So if you need extra food options, there is a McDonald's inside the same building that big Asda is.
There's a lot of Just Eat options as well, isn't there? Like, you can order pretty much anything.
Big up, was it Beijing House that does the Chinese for us?
Yeah, so you can always order things in if you need to as well. I know a lot of people that order things to the hotel and then obviously can meet them at the lobby. So that is an option if you're stopping nearby as well.
I have one more thing to add.
No,
if you're going to the if you want Wetherspoons options, you have two options, by the way. You can go to the O2, where there is a Wetherspoons in there. However, it might be incredibly busy because it's the O2. So just be warned in case there is an event on that evening, which there most likely will be. Second off, they don't do pictures at that spoon, so very disappointed. Your second option for the nearest Wetherspoons is at Canary Wharf. I think there's a couple of options on how to get there. The easiest way is to get the Lizzie line to Canary Wharf, and then it's like a 5-10 minute walk, I think, to the spoons. It's like a long cobbled road, a like pedestrian street, which might not be good for mobility. So just be warned, you'll probably have an easier time going to the one at the O2 if that's the case. But that is the lushest spoons I've ever been to. If you want a bathroom that is like the Titanic, go to that Wetherspoons at Canary Wharf.
So the next question then is, how have the previous after hours events been, specifically regarding Natural Six? So I don't believe any of us on the call or in the group have been to the after hours event. I did go to, I think it was the one in October last year. I had tickets to go to the after hours gaming thing, because that was when they joined up with EGX, and they left like all the gaming area open. So there was like, you know, like old Space Raider machines. What are they called?
Yeah, like arcade machines.
Yeah, so they had a lot of those available. They had a lot of console devices available. So you could obviously like queue up and take it in turns to play those. It was a big area. I didn't stay for long because it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. I've not been to any of the parties, but I've seen a lot of things on socials afterwards. It looks like people have a lot of fun, you know, if it's your kind of thing and you want to go and have a designated party with your friends, it does look good. But I know that you have to pre-book them, I believe. I don't know, unfortunately, I don't know any information on when that comes out.
But yeah, it's a pre-booked thing. However, unlike some panels where you can book like 3 seats, you all have to apply individually for after hours. However, this is the caveat or like the crux of the problem with that. The after hours tickets literally sell out they go within minutes. So you might get an after hours ticket, but your friend might not. Be warned with that as soon as it is out, that you and your friends are all on it and you try to get tickets for it, because it is a very cutthroat thing. I have heard mixed reviews, I guess, of like the after hours. Aren't they partnering up with EGX again this time?
I think so. Sure. So if they are partnering up with EGX, they have that side, and then they have the party where I think it was May last year, it was like Dougie from McFly that was DJing. So they actually get like a DJ in and they'll do like a Halloween party kind of thing.
And they do have some panels. I know that there was like a Shibari panel one time after hours. So they might do something like that again. Yeah, I don't know anything about Natural Six, unfortunately.
That's one thing I did look into yesterday, because I didn't even realise they were doing it. But yeah, they're doing the After Hours Natural Six show, which I don't know what time it starts, but I want to say it's like the first time they've done something like this. They don't really tend to have too many panels or shows that go on late, because obviously the convention tends to shut at like maybe 7 on a Saturday, I think. But a lot of us did go to the Baldur's Gate 3 D&D show that they did in October October.
But that was in the morning though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But basically, if they're going to run it the same as that, if I'm assuming it'll be on the main stage, there's a waiting area for it. And again, to add to what we were saying earlier about accessibility, they've got separate queues for that. So if you've got an accessibility pass or a sticker, you can go and queue in that area, and then the staff will let you know when it's time to go in. But yeah, like I say, I've not been to any of the after hours shows, so we can't really advise too much on that, but it's definitely worth checking it out if you want to, if it's your first time going, because they can be fun, but if it's not your cup of tea, at least you gave it a try.
Most of the people that I've talked to that have gone, they are big party goers from like going to the hotels, or they go to the Fox. And so MCM is kind of a mid experience, because I don't know if they have an alcohol license. So I'm not sure if alcohol is allowed in there or is accessible. And if it is, it's probably ridiculously expensive. But like, if you want a very simple DJing/rave dance experience that's a bit more chilled, then it's probably up some people's streets. But if you are big into the adult drink and not having enough room to move, you're best going to the Fox.
And if you want to wait 45 minutes for a drink.
I would say, obviously, I haven't been to the official after hours, but as someone who does go to the Fox most of the time, if it's anything similar, or like if there's any event that's going to have loud music, if you struggle with loud noises or loud music in general, or if you get overstimulated by stuff like that, I always bring earplugs. I specifically use loop earplugs. This is not an ad. They are really good at sort of just blocking out that really loud noise, because especially at the Fox, the music is always just obnoxiously loud.
The singers are amazing, however, they've played the same set for 3 years, and it's really starting to annoy me.
And you can't hear each other talk, like you have to shout. So I would recommend just bringing some earplugs if you struggle with that kind of thing, or anything that can help you sort of reduce the noise. I will say as well, the Fox doesn't have a lot of seats. So if you can't stand for a long period of time, like I know I can't, you either have to wait for a table to free up and like snatch it, or just sit on the floor, or you can sit outside the smoking area, but that also fills up very quickly. So just be aware that there aren't many places to sit. I think it just gets very, very busy, and it's a very small venue. I know the Novotel does drinks as well, and like a drinks party, but I heard that also gets very busy. Also with the Fox, you do have to get tickets beforehand if you want to go on Saturday, because while you can get some at the door if you go early, they go very quickly.
I would say, because I went to the Ibis in May last year, because I was only there for the one night, and that was really busy. But when we stopped at the Novotel in May this year, oh my god, I didn't realise how busy it got. Like, we were going back up to our room after we'd been to a friend's apartment. I couldn't even hear my mum or Boki in the lobby, and I'm like, that is insane. Like, I'm so glad we were like further up, because if I could hear that lobby, I would have raged.
Yeah, like I would go down for like a smoke at like 3 a.m. and people would still be partying in the lobby. It's insane in the Novotel. I don't understand how people genuinely do it. I'm too old for this. Like...
Okay, so the next question then is, any tips on avoiding water fountain queues? I personally don't take my own drinks. I just tend to buy the drinks there. But from Jen's perspective, because a lot of this information that I'm going to read now is from what Jen was advising, the biggest thing is it's hard to predict when or how busy the queues are going to be. But if you see that the queue is small or there's no queue at all, take your opportunity then to get your water. Even if you've not drank much, even if your bottle's not empty, fill up, because like, you know, next time you see the water fountain, it could be really, really busy.
I remember that they took away some of the water fountains, but there should be at least 4, I think. There's 2 at the front entrance on either side, and then there are 2 more opposite each other further down. I can't remember between what halls it is, but it's like midway, I think. Those ones, I think, tend to be less busy than the ones at the front.
Terry said last year I needed 4 to 5 litres of water in one day. Buying and carrying that much is tricky. Yeah, so try and fill up as much as you can, or try and time it as best you can. So Jen basically said go first thing in the morning if you can. If like you've not, say if you're staying in a hotel and you don't want to use the bathroom tap, wait until the morning and go then. It could also be beneficial if you check the schedule and you see that there's a panel on. Try and go during the panel times, because if it's not something you're interested in, it could be popular for a lot of other people, so that'll kind of clear out the halls a little bit. And there's lots of food venues in the main hall, like on the main boulevard anyway. There is a shop that's down some stairs halfway through the centre. Like, I think we looked at it yesterday, it's just past the Platinum Suite. They sell drinks for quite cheap, so you can get like cheap energy drinks or Coke or something that's not too expensive. So I can imagine they'll do water and stuff as well. It's near some toilets.
In terms of water, if you don't want to use the fountains and you don't want to use the tap in your hotel, because I do not trust London tap water, go to Tesco or an Asda beforehand and just stock up on like one of those massive packs of water.
So the last question we had on the forms was, is there an accessibility pass even for non-diagnosed disabilities? The first thing that Jen recommended was to get an access card, which MCM do accept for access needs, and it does cover non-diagnosed disabilities, I believe. So you can go to www.accesscard.online. It's £15 for 3 years, and a lot of venues accept it, so not just MCM. And basically you need to apply for one through the website. They will do the accessibility questions with you, and then that means that MCM will not ask you about it. They don't basically have the right to ask or question you on your disability. If you have that access card, they can assist you with that. MCM does offer a sticker, and coming from a couple of people that have used it, you basically need to go to the accessibility desk. I recommend going on your first day, first thing, and then you're covered for the rest of the convention. And basically they will give you a little sticker free of charge. You don't need to pre-book anything. You don't need to provide proof of disability. You don't even need to explain why you need it. You just go up to the accessibility desk and say, can I have one of the accessibility stickers, please? And they'll give you one. You can put it on your badge, and then whenever you're in a queue, say for autographs, photos, panels, if they come up and down the queue and they're checking for anybody that's got that sticker, you can then go into the priority queue, and that will mean you're seen to first or quicker than the regular queue. So I had an experience with this in October last year. I was queuing for someone, I was queuing for a very long time because I think they had to go for dinner or something, and I wanted to stay there to see that person. And that morning we had been queuing for Neil for about 4 hours or whatever it was, a very long time. So my legs were already tired, and my legs started to shake and I got very tired, and I was like, I need to sit down, but I don't want to make a fuss because I don't deal with physical disability and I didn't want to say anything. I got in really bad pain because of it, and one of the stewards came over to me and asked me if I was okay. I said, I've got the accessibility sticker, can I have a chair please? I feel like I'm going to fall over. And he went and got me a chair, and he was so lovely about it, and he was like, you should have said something, we would have sorted you out, this kind of thing. So the staff are absolutely lovely from what I've experienced. Even if you don't think you're going to need it, it's helpful to have it because then you can ask for assistance if you need to. Another top tip on that would also be to take somebody with you if you can make sure that you go with somebody. They can either advocate for you if you need something, or they can help communicate for you, because it isn't guaranteed that there'll always be somebody there. And you can get, is it a +1 as a carer if you apply for that?
There is a special disability ticket for disabilities, like you have to apply for that one. The details for this are on the website, but basically you will apply for that saying that you are disabled and that you need assistance. Then your carer will have to apply for the carer ticket. Carer's tickets should be free. But yeah, I also do recommend, regardless of if you have the disabled ticket and a carer's ticket, still go get the disability sticker, because they look for that more than you just saying like, oh, this is me and my carer, you know what I mean? So please go and get that. They also recognize sunflower lanyards. So if you do own a sunflower lanyard as well, please bring that and wear that to hold your con badge, because they will see that first before they see the sticker. No matter what your disability is, if it's physical or if it's invisible, please go and get yourself a disability sticker.
So before we go on to the final bit, which is our biggest tips as con goers, does anyone in chat have any questions, or is there anything we've not covered? If anybody watching this back on socials has any questions, please drop them in the comments and we'll take a look at that as well.
We are also, I think 2 of us are doing a Baldur's Gate meet at MCM, if anyone doesn't know. So
yes,
if you want to join that, I think it's on Friday, Saturday and Sunday by Jen and Loki.
I saw another question. So this is more for you guys to answer this because I've not done one. How do you make a cosplay build book? Is it just all of the photos of the various stages of creation with annotation?
There are a couple of good YouTube videos about build books. These are from American cosplayers, but it's still the same end goal. So yeah, you want a couple of things in a build book. It should be no more than, I think, 10 pages long. I think even that's a bit too much. So it should be like A4 booklet with like 10 pages max sort of thing, or like 10 to 12, I think, if I remember. Or it can just be a page. I highly recommend, if you are doing it a booklet method like that, the front page, make it an image of the character, and then the back of the book, like the front cover and the back cover, make the back cover the final version of your cosplay, like you in the cosplay, because then they can open that booklet up, they can see the reference of the character, and then they can see you as the character, and that is incredibly helpful, and I've seen a lot of people, or like judges, really like that sort of thing. In terms of contents of the book, you want basically photos of you making it. You want very short blurbs, so be like, I've chosen this and this fabric. You can show the fabrics. I would just say put them in a pile, and or like cut out swatches of fabric, and just take a photo of those. You want like a photo of the patterning if you've patterned it from scratch. Um, you want like just general process photos of it being put together, and close-ups of any sort of detailing that they might not see. And you really want to highlight points, like if you've done hand sewing, or like how many hours that took, or like if was 3D printed, or if that was sanded, just like basically any sort of detail that you really want to highlight, because that's what a build book is. It is supposed to, one, show that you have made it yourself. So again, I highly recommend that in those process photos, or like the work in progress photos, that you at least have one photo of you making it physically, not just your hands, but like you wearing like a half patterned thing, or you holding up that you are painting it. Because a lot of people have tried to fake making a cosplay, so you really want to be able to show that you have indeed made this yourself. And that will get you more points for sure.
Do you need to put in stuff like your seam allowances? Like
No,
that kind of detail, or is it just
no. It's basically like, I don't know if I have my Gortash build book. But if anyone wants it as a reference, then I can try and find it and I can upload it to like Cosplay Whips or something. But basically you want to go like, on this trench coat, there is hand sewing that has taken me 40 hours. I've painted these details. Like, it's very short thing. Highlight things like, this was hand sewing, this was painted, I styled this wig with this technique or something. Just very short things, because again, you only get like a minute of judging for MCM. Very different to other conventions. Sometimes they might say, oh, can we keep this build book to look back through? Or you can recommend, be like, if you want to take this build book to look at it like for judging, then tell them that, because otherwise they'll look at it for like a couple of seconds. So basically you want to put as much info as possible, but that's only skimmable written detail. But lots of pictures, more pictures than words.
Can we show reels to the judges if there's time?
You can do, but it might be a bit of a faff to pull your phone out.
So we'll move on to the last bit then, which is our biggest tip as a con goer in general.
My top tips, I guess, are all about sort of money saving. So I would say, first of all, if you can avoid it and you want to save money, try not to eat at the venue. They are quite expensive, especially the mac and cheese. I have so much beef with the mac and cheese stand. It's like £11 for a small pot of plain mac and cheese, and it's quite mid. Obviously, if you want to eat at the venue, that's absolutely fine, but keep in mind like the queues and things. Try and go at off-peak lunch hours. Try and go early if you can, actually. That's usually because after lunch, there's still quite a bit of queuing. So there are a lot of different places to eat at the venue, but obviously they're quite expensive. I recommend bringing a lot of snacks. You can take snacks into the venue. I don't think there's a limit for how many snacks you can bring. So just like try and stay hydrated and eat, because when we're at conventions, we tend to get overexcited and we might forget to tend to our basic human needs. So make sure you've just got at least a snack in your bag to grab if you are hungry. Especially if if you do decide to eat at the venue and you're waiting in queue and you start to get very, very hungry, you can eat the snack while you're in the queue. But there's like obviously a lot of, I think we discussed this earlier, there's a lot of things to do and to eat outside of the venue. That's like a short walking distance. I highly, highly recommend the Tesco Express. If you go onto the green, which is the outside area of the XL where a lot of the cosplayers hang out, and you just walk straight down the road slightly to the right, past the Fox and China Palace, there is a Tesco Express down there. It's really not that far. There are a lot of cosplayers go there as well, so you're not going to be alone if you are in costume, just like in public. It's opposite one of the hotels that I stayed at before. I don't remember the name, but
The Good Hotel.
it's not hard. Yes, that one. And so it's really not hard to miss. That you can get like just a meal deal, and that for like £3.50 or £4. I don't know how expensive they are now, but you could just save a lot of money by doing that. And you also avoid a lot of the big queues. I think my second point is more of sort of controversy rather than anything. I don't know how true this is, but I've heard a lot about certain stalls at conventions that sell these anime blind bags or these anime goodie bags, and usually these will look like really good deals. You'll get an anime printed bag with loads of goodies inside. I've heard that these are actually scams. They contain a lot of knockoff merchandise. They will claim that they are giving you your money's worth, but in reality, you're getting a lot of cheap stuff. So just be mindful of stores like that. And my last one is less negative. When you're exploring Artist Alley, which is like personally one of my favorite things to do, just so you don't miss anything, like try and go in a snake-like motion, because there are a lot of stalls that you might miss, and then you might be like, oh, like where did you get that from? And this person will be like, oh, I got it from this stall, and then you might have missed it. Also, if you want to sort of explore Artist Alley first before you buy anything, I would recommend taking pictures of like where the stall is located. So like the row number. So like for example, if it's in the north section and it's the fifth row, just take a picture of the N5 and ask the artist if you can take a picture of their stall. I would recommend asking first, because some artists don't like it when you just whip your phone out and take pictures. And then obviously you can say like, oh, I want to come back later after I've explored. Can I take a picture of your stall so I know where to come back to?
Thank you. That's a good tip about taking photos of Artist Alley. I never think about that, because then I'm like, oh, I really want to go back for this, and then I just completely forget about it, and I'm like, bugger, I wish I'd bought this now.
Yeah.
So no, that's a good one. Boki, do you want to do yours?
Number one, have breakfast. Even if you are not a breakfast person, at least eat something, even if it is a granola bar or, in my case, a pastry. Your convention days are so unpredictable. And if you're anything like me, you might go all day without eating. Either one, because you are so busy that you forget to eat, or two, food is expensive inside the XL and you might not want to leave. So at least make sure you have breakfast as well as something in the evening for dinner. I don't care what it is, if it's even a McDonald's, have something. Just please. Make sure you also take a bottle of water. There is nothing worse than being dehydrated and having a full face of makeup. Also bring pain relief medication. Ibuprofen, paracetamol. If you are wearing a wig, it will hurt after like 2 hours. Regardless of if you're in and out of cosplay, if you can, wear comfortable shoes, especially if you're out of cosplay. Bring yourself some sneakers or trainers, whatever. Don't be like me. Like, when I'm in cosplay, I suffer for the bit. I suffer for my cosplay, so I wear the most uncomfortable shoes known to man. But if it is a priority to you to be comfortable in your cosplay, wear comfortable trainers. Don't be like me. Don't be a silly Billy. Also, take a moment to appreciate the con. Like, if you're there for the weekend, spend the Friday or something going, like, just enjoying yourself. Like, go to Artist Alley, go to panels, see if there's any merch that you want to buy, that sort of thing. Like, just take a moment to appreciate it and remember why you're here. I feel like a lot of people these days get caught up in influencer content, and your first thing will be to pull out your phone to record it for Instagram or TikTok. Just have a day to enjoy yourself. Don't worry about that, especially if you've got things booked like cosplay photo shoots or other things. Like, just take a moment, appreciate why you're here. We're all here to be nerds. Like, you don't have to worry about that for one day. Just one day at least. if someone has made you uncomfortable at any point during the convention. There have been specific cases, I will not say what they are, but if someone has said something to you or has stalked you or won't leave you alone at the con, please immediately go to a steward and surround yourself with people that you are safe with. Because there are creeps at conventions, unfortunately, and some people can be weird, but the sooner that the stewards know about it and they can identify this person, the quicker they can be escorted out and you don't have to deal with them.
Before I get onto mine, I'm just going to quickly add in what Lee said about cosplay judges. When you're talking to cosplay judges, don't tell them your mistakes and don't point them out. Don't talk down about your cosplay. Talk yourself up. You know, you have worked so hard on that cosplay, and it might not have gone exactly how you wanted it, but you have done that yourself. You have made that yourself. You want them to absolutely love your piece. Don't think that they're going to notice every little detail. You might know a stitch is out of place, or you might know that you missed something. They might not know that. That might be the first time they have ever seen a cosplay of that character. Yeah. They aren't going to know whether it's right or wrong. So don't worry about that.
Also, you only get a minute as well. So, like, if you don't mention the mistake, they might not see it.
Yeah.
Because they really do rush to take a look at you. So, yeah, just don't mention any mistakes. On that note, if we're talking about masquerades or, like, competitions that you are being judged for, there is heavy scrutiny for things that have been 3D printed. If you have made the 3D model yourself, and then you've also printed it yourself, that is fine. But I've heard that people have been marked down, or they've not even considered you if you have taken a 3D print file from the internet, or even, like, say if you've bought like a 3D, like an EVA foam pattern, like a pre-made pattern that someone else has made for armor or anything. They will mark you down for that as well.
So from me then, my biggest piece of advice would be to choose everything you want to do. And this is going to sound really out of pocket, but pick everything you want to do. Go onto the schedule, tick everything you're interested in, everything that applies to you. However, you need to be very, very mindful that you might not get to do everything on that list. So you can plan and pick out everything you want to do, but don't be disheartened if you don't get to do it. I booked a spot to go to the David Tennant panel in May. I didn't get to do it because, like Bokkie said, doing influencer stuff and, taking photos and stuff like that. And before you know it, that panel time has come up and you've not given yourself enough time to get there, and then you're rushing around and you're just getting stressed and you're going to miss your time to get there. Don't worry about it. If it's something you've not paid for and you're not going to lose any money, it's fine. Yes, you might have booked a ticket or whatever, but that you will notice yourself that if you do go to a panel, there will be lots of empty seats because not everybody can get there. It is that busy at a convention. You won't get time to do everything. If it's a photo opportunity and it is something you've paid for and they're calling out your time, make sure you are there because you don't want to lose your money. They do it so quick, and it's best to get there. I'd probably say, I think they say to get there 10 minutes before your time slot. I'd say to get there maybe half an hour before your time slot to make sure that you are there for when they call the group and you're not going to miss the photo opportunity with that person. The MCM app has reminders on it, so you can set a reminder anything between, I want to say it's like 15 minutes to an hour or 2 hours before the thing. And the last thing from me is when scheduling your time, like I say, you might not get to do everything, but make sure that you do schedule time for yourself. Schedule a time to go and get some dinner, or like Bokkie said, time to go and have a look around and do something that you want to enjoy. Don't over-plan yourself to the point that you can't eat, you can't go to the toilet, things like, you're doing things back to back. So just, look after yourself. You're still a person, and while it is exciting to have all your special interests in the same place, you still matter and you need to look after yourself first. I think that's it from us, guys, unless anyone else has got another question. Hopefully it helps people who have either never been to a con or, are going again, or whatever the situation. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being part of the community and all the exciting stuff we've got coming. I'm excited to bring it all to you.
I will see you in October, baby.
Yeah, see you next month. Oh my god, a month, guys. Sorry.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, okay, everyone, right, that's it. Time's up. Everyone go work on your cosplays. Go sew. Go do your things. and we will see you guys really soon.